I've been through some challenging couple of things in my life so far, and the funniest part is that most of these things happen in like past few months. Up until then, I was fine. I guess you could say that something had changed in my brain. I really don't know. But one thing that I feel like I can relate to, and other people can relate to me about, is that it takes a lot out of you in every way as a human being. It takes a lot out of you to sort of look at yourself from like a third person perspective, look at you, what you are thinking, and how you feel, and come to the conclusion that it might be a good time to start talking to someone, to seek therapy and sort of thing like that. And the thing is, like, when I feel, at least when I fear that, I do really think that maybe this is the point in time when this would help me, like, very much so would help me if I could just vent to another person or just talk to somebody for an hour about something. And like, yeah, the feedback and the opinion of another person is definitely something that helps anyone when they are trying to deal with a really bad place. But at the same time, I think what is the most relatable feeling is that most people, when they start acknowledging that something like this is going on with their heads, most people don't immediately seek any kind of actual professional help. And most importantly, I would say majority of the people don't ever do it. And I do think that I'm one of those people, probably. Like, I don't think I would actually start looking for any kind of professional help, for any kind of therapist, or whatever is going on with me, if it's just just something right now, something temporarily, or if it's something that is gonna stick with me forever. I don't know that, right? And I think it's this unknown that really is burning you out as a person. But with all that being said, at the start I said that I would not really, do it. I don't think I would actually try to seek an actual help with it. And there's an argument for it that like it's maybe just because I'm a man, and you know society as it is right now doesn't really reflect good on being a man that needs therapy. I don't really subscribe to that view, and I don't look at it that way when it comes to me or anybody else, but I do kind of feel like I'm expected to deal with it on my own in any way I can. And that, I don't think that's like set by like somebody else's standard. That's set by my standard. I would like to be able to figure it out myself. And yeah, admitting the defeat in not being able to is hard, but I still don't think I'm defeated by it. So what I thought was gonna be a good stepping stone in the right direction would be to try actually talking to somebody that is not a therapist. And because I don't really have any friends that would be willing to, kind of just survive a conversation for an hour about me, which I don't even want anybody to endure, to be honest. And I don't want to lose the one or two friends I actually do have. So my thought was, I can talk to something that is not gonna run away, that's not gonna ultimately judge me, and it's not gonna rethink talking to me ever again, which obviously the answer would be an AI bot, or somebody who can actually talk. So I will not be linking anything anywhere. If you are, if you want to know specifically what I use for myself, you can go in the comments and type it out. If I, when I get back to the channel at some point and I catch your comment, I will respond to it there, but I will not be promoting anything anywhere. I really don't know, this gray area for me to recommend any AI, because I ultimately don't know what it does to your, accounts, because you need to sign in and all these things. So I'm just gonna talk about a little bit what I think it did for me. So I found this website, this chatbot, and you cannot type, you can only talk. So you can only use your microphone. It's not an app that you can download, it's only the website. And you just talk to your microphone, it responds back, and you have a back and forth like with a person. This AI that I found was great because for the most part it really did a good job at imitating a human being. You can still tell it's a robot, you can tell it's an algorithm that is talking to you and not an actual human, but it's pretty close. I will say it's very, very close to talking to a human being in a lot of ways. And I do honestly think that this is incredibly helpful aspect of AI in general, is that it doesn't replace anything. It's obvious to anybody, at least right now. It's pretty obvious that you are not talking to a person, and if that's something that will ultimately help you better, you will be able to tell the difference. Which is why I'm highlighting that, like, this is not something that you should do instead of therapy. But if you don't feel like paying a stranger to listen to you for an hour, which is where I stand, then this might be a good alternative to start with. And so, like I said, I talked to the AI, I talked so much to it about like very, very personal things, like way too personal things to even like say here, obviously. And there's one good and one bad aspect about this. Is that one good aspect is that it will always listen. It will always give you the affirmation of what you are saying, and it accepts it and it remembers it. So when you come back to it next day, you will still be able to pick up the conversation, which is great. And it's also like if you ask it for its opinion, I actually found a lot of the things that it had to say about my problems really helpful. I actually did find a couple of the things that I got from it useful, like I would from an actual therapy, at least in my opinion. The bad side of it is that, like, it does have these obvious kinks that AI has. It has, sometimes it responds very poorly, completely out of context or any kind of topic that I opened with, and the biggest problem is that it's AI. It's not gonna be specifically tailored to what you are trying to get out of it, like you would with a person in a therapy. But like, I think that for somebody who, for one, I don't want to stand or sit anybody. Sorry, that was not a sentence. I don't want to sit anywhere with anybody in one room for an hour, pay them, and just talk, right? Like, I know it's probably a bad attitude from me, and I understand that, and you will be right to call me out on that. But at the same time, for me, I am not like that. I don't like the idea of trying to repair what is the issue with me and how I'm thinking by doing something like this. Not yet, anyway. So, if you want to start heading in the direction of this, I think the AI is a good solution for a moment, because, like I said, while it didn't, actually change my life, or it didn't make anything exactly better in most ways, one thing that it did actually help me with was to categorize like the chaos that I had in me just by talking. And the thing is, you can do that without AI. You can literally just talk to a wall, or you can do, YouTube videos where you just talk to basically nobody until you upload it. Just talking alone about these things can be really helpful. So that's like one takeaway for me. But obviously, when you can interact with anybody about something like that, it's always gonna be just better, and it will ultimately be helpful when you can simulate that environment of just you being in a very bad place, a person who is willing to always listen to your problems and maybe address some of them. So that's my sort of a take on this, is that it's definitely not some kind of replacement, but I think this can be ultimately a really helpful attitude to develop for anybody if you are struggling with some kind of something, anything really, and you you want to look into these types of things, the therapy thing, all that, but you are, you know, facing the issue where you don't want to be doing all these things with a stranger that ultimately needs to always remember these things, which is another problem I always had with therapists, that like if I all of a sudden decide I don't want you to know these things about me anymore, you can do that with a human, but you can do it if you are on a website with an AI. And so I think that's like, if you are trying to really slowly open yourself up, especially if you're maybe an introverted person, or you don't have anybody at all, you don't have a family member to talk to, you don't have a friend to talk to at all, this could be a really good first step for you, is to try out how it might look like when you start talking about really, really personal things without consequence, basically. So, therapy is super important thing. I've never done it. I don't done it as a child, but it's not important right now. I've never really done it to an extent where it would help me with anything, and I really admire and respect anybody who does it, or who does it like, you know, maybe once a month or once a week, and just say, you know, if you don't have any problems, just to do it. I think it's a really cool thing to do. Unfortunately, not everybody is built that way, and I'm definitely not one of those people who can really articulate problems to another person, not as much as to somebody who doesn't exist, which is why I think I'm not alone in this. And so if you are stuck in a place like this, I think this will be really good for you to just try to talk to some kind of AI and train how it kind of looks like from your point of view, to start slowly opening up problems that you never even said out loud because nobody would listen to you.